Hi there, welcome to Clarke Auction's Fine Art Auction Preview for the January 14th sale. I'm going to start with this first painting here, which is a lovely painting of a woman and child. It is a signed work in the lower left hand, and we can't quite figure it out. So you art detectives might figure this out, the lovely painting, and it's estimated at $1,000 to $1,500. Above that, we have the first of 7 works by the African-American artist Vincent D. Smith. This is a pencil on paper, and it's titled "We Shall Have Our Freedom," and it's estimated at $500 to $700. A regular artist that we have here at Clarke Auction is Johan Bertheson, and this is Docks with New York City Skyline. It's estimated at $1,000 to $1,500, and you get to see a lovely boat there. And below that is After Albert Bierstadt, The Rocky Mountains. This is an colored engraving from 1866. And moving over, we have a contemporary work of art by the living artist Jezri Kubina, and this is called "The Dust of Life," done in 2012, and we have an estimate of $2,000 to $3,000 on that. Now moving over to the print next to that, we have Robert Rauschenberg's his Arcanum 11, part of a series of 13 prints done in 1981. And as you can see, it's interesting for you automobile fans. You've got a BMW and a Volkswagen Bug in there. And this is number 50 of 75, of an edition of 75. Above that, we have a lot of interest in the painting above, "Mending the Nets" by Emile Albert Gruppe. This was estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. It's a lovely painterly work by Gruppe, and you can see the fabulous brushwork in that painting. Next to that, we have above here a second of the Vincent D. Smiths. This is the angry one. Sometimes I can understand that. It's oil on masonite, and it's painterly. I mean, it's amazing, his technique. It's almost sand-like, I think he did employ in that. And there's lots of fabulous colors in there. And it's estimated at a mere $1,000 to $1,500. We now move down to another familiar artist here at Clarke Auctions, Nicola Sambari, an Italian artist. And this is a still life. And it's signed in the lower right. And it's a fabulous, again, abstract composition. Moving on, we've got a work by Paul Sample, and the title of this work is "Memories of an Old Man." I guess he was probably a bullfighter, and it's a fabulous, just the serenity of the gentleman on the right-hand side there with his sunglasses. And that is estimated at $2,000 to $3,000, and it's an acrylic on canvas. Now moving to the other side of the room, we have this fabulous large Aaron Messig, an Iraqi-born artist in 1942 who moved to Israel in 51. This lovely large abstract composition is from a Park Avenue estate, and this is the first of 2, so we'll be able to see a different work by the artist here shortly. Lovely colors in this, and not sure what we've got going here, but it's a classic Messig work here, and it's estimated at $1,000 to $1,500, so that's a lot of canvas for the money. Here on the easel, we have another of the Vincent D. Smiths, and this is a sketch for a mural. We're not sure what the mural was, but this is a oil or actually acrylic on board composition, and we're gonna see some more Vincent D. Smiths here. The next one is a Vincent Smith called "Fishing," This is oil on board done in 1960 with an estimate of 8 to 1200. To the left of fishing, we have this figure in a window done in 1964, which is a fabulous cityscape by Smith, and this is estimated at 5 to 700. Below that, we have another Smith, which has been very well received, and it's called a still life and a bird. It's an oil on canvas, and it's estimated at 6 to 900. We now go to the left of that Smith, to the second of the Aryan Messigs, and this is a portrait of a woman reading. It's an oil on canvas and estimated at 1,000 to 1,500. And again, it's a very blocky, painterly portrait. Moving to the left of that, straight across, we have another Vincent D. Smith, which is from one of his many trips to Africa, I believe in the 70s, and it's a mixed media, and it's called Buying Cloth in Bolgatanga. And again, it shows the expressiveness of Smith with his multi-layers of colors and the textural of the clothing. Above that, we have the final of the Smiths, which is a portrait of a woman, and this is oil on board and shows the expressiveness and the dark and moodiness of Vincent's works. To the left of this final Vincent Smith, we have a French painter from the 20th century called Charles Henry Contenkin, and this is Lake Carnu, and it's an oil on board and signed on the lower left edge of the painting, and you get the atmosphere of those mountains of the Alps, and this is estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. We're now in the main gallery, and I'd like to share some of the items in here of interest. First, I'm going to start with two prints by nuns. This top one is by Sister Mary Corita Kent, a well-known printmaker, and this is a print called Be of Love, A Little More Careful, done in 1959. And in this lot, you also get a second print by yet another nun called Sister Mary Cohen, and this is Cure the Blind. The two prints are estimated at a mere 6 to 900. We now move along the wall to a rather large work by the contemporary artist Duke Riley. And Duke is well known for doing seafarer craft. He's a Brooklyn-based artist, and he also recently had an exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum last year in which he used his abilities to create these similar type style of almost like scrimshaw work, and he used a lot of trash from the coastlines along the East Coast. Now this work here is called Under the Cover of Darkness, done in 2006, and this rather large work is pen and ink on paper. It also, you do get a book with this, which the work is illustrated in. We're now going to move further down the wall, and you'll see some nudes by Chaim Gross and some of the regulars that we have here, the painting that's after George Brock. But I'd like to bring you to the next works, which are a bunch of tools by the American artist Jim Dine. This was done in 1970, and it's a lithograph, signed and dated lower right, and it's number 60 of an edition of 63. Above that, I find this a fun picture by Harvey Schmidt. It's called The Wham in Football, and this picture was actually used as an illustration for an article in Esquire magazine about the traumas of American football being hit, head injuries. So even in the 50s, that was a concern. Moving up at the top there next to is a wrench. Also, again, this is another work by Jim Dine. This wrench was done in 1974, and this one's actually an artist proof. Below that, we have a contemporary artist named Chin Yi, a female artist who lives here. She lives in Dobbs Ferry area, and this is rice on paper, actually on canvas, signed lower right. It has an estimate of $1,200 to $1,800, and she recently was exhibited at Whitechapel Gallery in London this past year. Moving along the wall, kind of getting an idea of clowns on unicycles. We've got some old master drawings, seascapes. But I'd like to bring you to some small works that we have in the sale. This portrait of a Netherlandish school, portrait of a woman. I think it's possibly 16th century, but I'm saying style. It's oil on board, but it's really well done. And I think it does have some age, and it's a mere estimate of $800 to $1,200. There's a lot of interest in that in the sale. Above that, we have another small old master, and it depicts the destruction of Sodom. And above that, we have Tobias and the Angel, a Russian icon. To the right of that, we have the first of several in the sale by Arbit Blatis, the Lithuanian-American artist, who spent a great deal of time in Paris, and this is a view in Paris. Again, another expressionist artist, and this is estimated at $3,000 to $4,000. As we move further along, up high on the wall, we have, for instance, a photograph by Cindy Sherman. It's untitled, but it's known as Pig Girl. So we have a bit of everything in this sale. And moving along the wall, we have more oils by Blatis. We have in the middle here an interesting painting by Francisco Cordel Cougar. He's a Spanish artist, and this is a view in Antibes. And the interesting note about this artist is he was the creator of the cover art for The Great Gatsby, the first edition cover for that book. Below that, we have a print by Irene Rice Pereira, an American artist, Landscape of the Absolute, circa 1960. Now moving again along the wall, we have more prints, views of bridges, skeletons, prints from the 18th century with rhinoceros. You get a pair of those. And another large grouping that we have after looking at the skeletons with rhinos is we have a large grouping, several lots by the American illustrator Hilary Knight. He is famous for illustrating the children's book Eloise, but he also is known for doing costume designs and cover art for Broadway plays. Moving along the walls, we have again old master drawings, and we have academic works of men. These drawings are by the other illustrator, Raoul Colon. And now we move to one of the highlights of the sale, I think, is this portrait of Saint Roche and a dog. It's being cataloged a circle of Giovanni Battista Tiepolo, the famous 18th century Venetian artist. And it's a wonderful depiction of Saint Roche. And we have a lot of interest in that, and hope to learn more about that in the come sale day. But moving along the walls, we have again another selection. We have from the 1950s. We have Hungarian landscapes and more prints, 19th century works. And then we have, moving to the right, a large work by Richard Sigmund, 2 parking spaces for Manhattan. The estimate on this is a few $100s, so I'm sure it'd be a lot cheaper to get a painting than an actual space in the city. Moving along, we have more designs by Hilary Knight and Costigans. But I'd like to come over as we pan along to the final item in the sale, which is this wonderful Piranesi column of Trajan's column in Rome. As you can see, I'm 6'1", and it's not a small one. So we believe this is to be an 18th century print due to its condition, which is fairly good for its age. And as usual, I wasn't able to show you everything in the sale, so be sure to go to our website, clarkeny.com, to get a complete catalog. And all the best, and good luck at the auction.